Noah and his wife, his children, his family. Today, we will speak about this topic, swimming against the current. Being happy in your love life in today's world means swimming against the current. Let's understand what Noah has to do with this topic. The Bible, when it speaks about Noah, it says that Noah was a just man and perfect. Not in the sense of not making mistakes, but in the sense of being a man with integrity. He was just with integrity in his generations. When it says generations, it's speaking about a time when people would live hundreds of years. Noah passed through a lot of generations, and every generation that would go by was worse than the previous, like today. And even still, Noah he actually kept his integrity. He remained just. He did not corrupt himself with the generations, with the people around him. Let's not forget that Noah was that person, Noah and his family, the kind who God chose to enter the ark when God decided to end humanity in order to start again. So, there was something special about this man. What was special about him? He lived in a world, if you read chapter 6 of Genesis, you will see that Noah lived in a time when the world was so bad, going in such a way that God said, there's nothing else that can be done. Nothing else. The only solution is to end. I will end humanity and I will start again. That's how bad it was in the sacred texts in the Bible. Evil multiplied in the times of Noah. The thoughts, imaginations of people were continuously bad. It was unbearable. For you to have an idea, when Jesus, much later on, thousands of years after Noah, when Jesus was here and he prophesied about the end of times, the apocalypse, he said the end of times would be like in the times of Noah, when everything was being corrupted. You could not take it anymore. And we are getting to this point in time in our generations. So Noah lived this reality. However, what made God choose him and his family to enter the ark? Noah remained just among a corrupt generation. In other words, he had to shield himself. He did not adapt to what was going on around him, as is what happens with the majority of people. People end up adapting to society, to what we see others doing. This idea, everybody does it. It's the way it is. Everybody does it. Today, it's like this. Today, it is normal. For example, you see that some years ago, not too long ago, a few decades ago, in my childhood and youth, it wasn't so normal to see couples getting divorced, separating. When a couple would divorce or separate, or even live apart because divorce was rare, it was a shock for the family, for the relatives, for friends. It wasn't so common. Divorce was not common. A woman getting pregnant without being married was not so common. And not too long ago, today it is normal. Today you see people married 2, 3, 4 times. It's normal. A person has a child without a father. It's normal. It's even glamorized by some celebrities out there. I will do a planned parency. A planned parency independently. An independent production. It means I don't need a man. I don't need a husband. I don't need a father. I just need his sperm. So things start becoming like everybody starts adapting. Yes, now it's like this. Today it's like this. Noah wasn't like this. Noah remained with integrity, just, untouched, in a generation that was so unjust, corrupt, and continually evil. And this called God's attention to him and his family. That is why God chose Noah to place in the ark.
And you see that Noah, he wasn't the product of the environment, which is what happens today. Why did divorce become so common? Separation, being a single mother. Why did it become so common? Because people started accepting this. They started accepting it, and today they use this card. Everyone goes through this. It's not just me. We are living in a century. This is how it is. And what happens? As much as you may try to normalize something wrong, you will still suffer because of it. It's not by normalizing something that it will stop being a problem. So let's talk normally about divorce. Many people are divorcing, normal. Everyone is. But it's still a problem. It causes a lot of pain for the children, for those who were abandoned. Then you have all the other difficulties. Children from the other marriage. Anyways, it continues to be a problem, but people speak about it as if it were not a problem. As if, yeah, it happened. What were we meant to do? Live unhappily together? We had to separate. There was no other way. So people normalize a problem, but the problem doesn't stop causing pain and suffering amongst others. So in reality, it's an individual decision by every person. It was Noah's decision. He was not a special person. He did not have a halo. He was not a saint. Why did he have integrity? Why was he just in that time when there was no one like that? Because he decided. He decided he did not want to. He did not want to normalize that. It talks about it in chapter 6, how people started to corrupt themselves. And it's interesting to note that corruption in that time, when God speaks about corruption, it speaks precisely about relationships, that men started to get involved with women, and many women, and then all of a sudden everyone had become corrupt. However, Noah did not. He remained married to one woman. He remained faithful to his wife. He was a true man. His children also married to just one woman. They probably had to make a lot of adjustments in order to not be contaminated with what was going on in that time. Because when a person decides, when that person says that situation, they're not going to allow that situation, their past, their parents divorced, everyone around me is divorcing, I do not want to be contaminated with that situation. When a person decides this within themselves, they have to make a lot of adjustments. And that's what a lot of people can't seem to do. Because the person doesn't want to change that much. She doesn't want that problem. I don't want this problem. I don't want to get divorced like my parents did. But I want to give orders. I'll be the boss in the relationship. Everything has to be my way. In other words, she doesn't want the problem, but she has the same behavior as everyone else. I make a lot of adjustments in my life to not be another divorced woman. Renato does too. We are not special. We are not miracles. No, we make a lot of sacrifices in order to remain in the presence of God, to keep our marriage safe. So, everything around us wants to tell us the opposite. We live in a world like in the times of Noah where no one is promoting this. No one is promoting faithfulness, promoting love, care, promoting unity. What is being promoted today? Individualism. No, I have my money, you have yours. I want to do what I like doing. So you don't like it, then it's your problem because I want to do what I like. I have my dreams. I want to travel. I want to know this place. I want to do I will do what I want to do. If we allow ourselves to be led by what the world promotes, we are going to lose.
Based on what you said right now, that we make sacrifices in order not to be part of the divorce statistics of the divorced. Many people today hear this and say, no, Renato and Chris. I don't believe in this. Because love does not have to be sacrificial. It has to be natural. That's what they say. It has to be natural. If you have to make effort, it's not love. The romanticized version that Hollywood, the arts, today's culture sells to people is exactly this. No, if you have to make sacrifices, if you have to make efforts, then it's not love. It's not a nice thing. Well, look at the lives of the people who live this kind of mentality, and you will see a history of X amount of failed relationships. Especially because of this. They enter into a relationship, and when the other person begins to confront her, she says, no, I'm not going to change for you. I'm not going to change for you. So, life goes on. And it's one more visitor in the heart, one more person who passes by the heart. The truth is, when we talk about sacrifice, it's not that it's a pain. I put up with Cristiane to not get divorced, or she puts up with me in order not to get divorced. This is not what we're saying. We're talking about intelligent sacrifice. It's the same kind of sacrifice that you who like cleaning in your house. Those of you who like cleaning, you know that in order for you to have a clean, good smelling house, you have to clean your house every single day, or at least very frequently. You have to use cleaning products, you have to move the furniture around, you have to have a certain order, a discipline of placing the clothes at a certain place, not allowing a mess to build up, having a sink full of dishes. You have to have the sacrifice of cleaning in order for you not to live in a pigsty. Yes or no? It is an intelligent sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice that you say, I have to do. No, it's a sacrifice that you make because after your house is clean, you're like, wow, good. I like being clean. Isn't it? You like being clean because there is a return from the strength you put into cleaning. The return of cleaning. This is the kind of sacrifice we are talking about. A sacrifice that has a return. That makes us live without fights, to have a satisfactory life, a pleasurable life, a happiness that we don't require a third party to meet what the other one is lacking. It is an intelligent sacrifice. It's what works. It's what the Bible teaches. That the true love is the one that gives sacrifice, God so loved the world that he sacrificed his only son. This is the kind of love that nobody wants to practice. People want the Hollywood type of love. They want it ready, the love from movies. That kind of love where both go through struggles and the families are against and there's a third person, a love triangle, and they fight and in the end, they get married and live happily ever after. But the thing is, the movie had to finish in 2 hours. Imagine if they had to keep writing the story. Right? So people watch that and deceive themselves into thinking, oh, that's what I want. I want a marriage like that.
When we watch movies, we already say, oh, that is not going to work. We know it's not going to work. Everyone is clapping for them, but we know that even in their struggle to win, what romanticizes it all is exactly their differences, right? She says, I have my career. My career comes in first place, but I love you. I love you. I want you. Okay, all right. They manage to overcome many things and then get married. This will only last 1 year or the most. Because the romanticizing of you loving, of you not needing to change anything, of having the best of both worlds, having your independence, which is the single life, whilst being married to someone. This doesn't exist. This doesn't exist. So you're going to see in movies, you will see this, but in reality, this doesn't work.
If you... Please.
I cannot be independent. If I am independent and I say, Renato, I will do what I want to do. That's it. We are going to have problems in our marriage. We, as Renato's wife, he, as my husband, we have to give accounts to each other. This is one of the sacrifices that I'm talking about here. We have to give account of what we do because we are married. So do this for him. If I want to buy something, look, I want to buy this. What do you think? I wanted to go out to this place. What do you think? We are one. We are married. So these are sacrifices, this kind of level of sacrifice, not the kind of sacrifice that you have to be there, oh, I have to put up with him hitting me. No, it's not this. This is wrong. It's about sacrificing for love. I love my husband, so I will not leave him worried. I won't leave him insecure. I will not have other friendships, friends he doesn't know. No. I value my relationship so much that I choose my friendships very well. They're always women. I don't have friendships with men because I am married. It's these kind of sacrifices, these kinds of things that we do for each other. When we didn't do these things, when Renato had his way of being kind to other women, this would hurt me. I would feel insecure. I would think, will he fall in love with another woman? So one day he came and decided, when we decided to put an end to the problems in our marriage, he decided, all right, I will stop this. And he stopped. Today he's not too kind, too cool. He's not. He's polite. He will speak with a person. Of course, there's no problem. He will speak, but he won't be too kind.
This is a cultural custom because I grew up this way. I had this habit. There was never any indiscretion or betrayal, but it was something that bothered my wife. I fought against it for many years, saying I wasn't doing anything wrong, saying you're trying to change who I am, until I realized it wasn't worth it. It was a fight that wasn't worth it. It was better to learn to make my wife my friend than to have friends. It was better. The return was better, greater. So it was a matter of intelligence. But of course, I could have continued arguing, saying, no, you're trying to control me, to change me, you're imagining things. I could have defended myself. Oh, but so and so has female friends, so and so's husband. I could have copied what others were doing. But I decided to be more practical, pragmatic. I weighed my options, being with Smiley, with other women, or giving my wife peace, calmness in my marriage. Which is better? So, it's a matter of intelligence. For you to be happy today in your marriage, in your love life, you have to swim against the current, go against the flood, against the anti-marriage that exists in the world today. You can see that marriage is not promoted, it's criticized. How many people do you know who say, I don't want to get married? Marriage isn't for me. Why? Because of the constant bombardment against marriage. We promote marriage, and it's as if we were squared, unpleasant, literally from Noah's Ark. Right? We promote traditional marriage of just one woman for life. It literally as if we were coming from Noah's time. But this is it. If you're going to live a happy love life, you're going to swim against the current. The current which is anti-marriage, anti-men. Today, we live in a culture which is anti-men. The trend is for women to run over men because of their problems. This is the reality. It's not everyone, but there is a strong movement for this. And because of this, many men are also running over women, saying women are greedy, they only want this, I'm going to live alone. I'm only going to use them, then discard. I won't get attached. In other words, it's one against the other. This is the culture of today. Individualists, one relationship after the other, or at the same time. This is what the world promotes, what culture promotes. Everything contrary to what you really want, which is to have peace, to have someone who you can be together for the rest of your life, to love and to be loved. In fact, if you have a son, if you love him, be careful. Your daughter, be careful with what they watch. Don't let your child watch Disney movies. No. Because Disney movies is one of the reasons why many adults are unhappy in their love life. They're seeking Prince Charming, married to a frog, married to a witch, and many other things of this nature. But movies today no longer talk about the princess and the frog. No. The Disney movies of today and other movies speak about not needing a man in your life, or even worse things. You know what they are. This is what the cultural flood has done with people. The cultural flood. If you want to be happy in your love life today, you have to stand out. Protect yourself from all of this and create your own culture, your own way of being, of acting in a marriage. I don't want to know what my neighbor is doing, what my friend is doing. I don't want to know what my family members did. All I need to know is this. Our culture is the Word of God, the culture of faith. In our marriage, we live a culture of faith. It's not the Brazilian culture, American culture, Hollywood, feminist, chauvinist. The culture that we live is a culture of faith, intelligent faith. Faith from the author of marriage. So, if you want to be happy in love, go to the root. Go to the origin of love. Who invented marriage? Who created man and woman? How did he determine that it would work out? Go to the root. Because if you go to those who have a terrible relationship but want to give you relationship advice, you are lost. You are lost. You have to change the way you think. And this is what it means to go against the current. You will be called square. You will be called every name possible. but no problem. Imagine how much do you think Noah was criticized? The years he spent building the ark, speaking about the flood that was about to come. For how long and how many times was he criticized by people, by his generation? But he knew better. So when it started raining, my friend, look at what the scriptures say. Look how prophetic. I will read here what happened during that time. But understand, this figuratively speaking for the days of today. Look at what happened. It says this: the waters of the flood prevailed and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. So it rained and rained so much it covered the mountains. The mountains were covered by water. But above the water, as the water got higher, the ark was above. So the ark was always above the waters. And this is how you need to be, above the natural flood. The water can rise, this world can get worse, but if you are in the culture of faith, you will always remain above. The worse it gets, the better you will be. Look at that. And the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth, and all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. So it can rise up until the mountains. So it can rise up to the mountains. But the ark will float above the water like a cruise ship. Amen? A cruise ship. This is the conditions that you can have. You'll be on a cruise ship during the flood of relationship unhappiness that exists in this world. That's if you practice intelligent love. So, understand this. The world has nothing to give you about a happy relationship. Nothing. Do you want a happy live life? Go back to the root. Go back to this. Practice. Put it into practice, and you will see yourself above all this.
And it's important to say that it doesn't say Noah was, that Noah did what his heart wanted, that he did what made him happy. Noah was righteous. He was righteous and perfect in all his generations. So, first of all, it's what you do right. What you do right, what you do righteously. You are righteous. When you are righteous with yourself, with your partner, with people, with God, so you will have happiness and joy like Noah did. But you have to be righteous. You cannot wait for others to treat you righteously first. For example, you may be married, but alone here, fighting for your marriage alone. It even seems like only you care about it. Your husband doesn't come. He doesn't want to learn. He doesn't recognize he's doing wrong to you. And what you feel like doing is, oh, I won't do anything then. I won't care. I won't fight either. He doesn't care. This is what you feel like doing. But be righteous. Even if he's unrighteous, you be righteous. Because it was through Noah that his family was saved. It was through Noah. It doesn't talk much about his wife. Actually, it doesn't say anything about his wife. He had a wife. We know he did, but it doesn't say anything about her. Nothing is mentioned. Noah was just. It was because of him that his family was saved. Do you want your family to be saved? Do you want your marriage to be saved? Be righteous. You may be a single woman. All the single women of your age are doing many things, wanting many things. Be just. Don't go with the flow. They say a lot of things like you are foolish, you have to go out, date, kiss the guys. They say a lot of things, but they are unhappy. They're saying these things because they don't know what to do. They don't know. I don't even know what to do with my life. I'm unhappy. I have to distract myself. Don't follow their advice. Be righteous with yourself. Do you deserve to be one more among the crowd, another woman? How come men can but women can't? So do you want to be like this? One more among the crowd? That's used and uses. Do you want to be this kind of person? Stop it. You don't need to. You can decide today, even if you have done this up to now, but today you can decide you will no longer be like that. I'm going to be just. I'm going to be perfect. I know that perfection, we don't have perfection, but before God, it's for you to do what is right. He knows our limits. But if you at least make the right choices saying, hey, I'm going to stop playing around with my love life. I'm going to stop playing house, getting into a new relationship every minute. I'm going to do what is right.